Hi, welcome back to my channel. Expat Rebel Chris here, and we're going to be talking about internet here in the tropics in Mexico and how good it is, how bad it is in this new episode of Expat Rebel. So welcome back, everyone. And I did a video 2, 3 years ago about internet in Mexico as I was renting places. So I rented nearly 30 places in the peninsula of Yucatan, the state, and Quintana Roo over Playa del Carmen mostly, and had various different types of internet from DSL with not all that great to fiber optics and microwave. So I've had a couple of places that had microwave towers. In fact, let me show you. My neighbor has this still. In fact, I got several neighbors here on the beach. I bought a house and settled down. My place has fiber optics, which is fantastic. But a lot of my neighbors don't have that. They actually still have, there you go, that tower right there. That is microwave. And it can be actually pretty good, way better than DSL, or really bad. And I've had it do both. So one of the things, and this is right on the beach, so one of the problems we had at a different place that wasn't on the beach was that if the thing gets off an alignment just a little bit, your internet can go from 20 megabytes down and up. It's fantastic, actually. And it's not that bad to zero, not even work. And I had that happen over in Playa del Carmen, even though we weren't even near the beach. And it was just horrible. And once we got it fixed, it was fantastic. But I had to go to a Starbucks and use a Wi-Fi whenever I wanted to get online, which is a lot, just for personal use. And found those to be just not that great. Tried to avoid it in the future. We did take one because the place was really cute. We rented for a month just down the beach, actually, a few miles. And we had no internet practically for a month. Just offline. I got used to being offline, which was way different than I was used to after being online for a long time, since the late 80s, actually, or mid 80s. But our place, when we bought it, it came with fiber optics already. And we're like, oh my God, that's so cool. We don't even have the fastest speed that you can get. So I'm going to show you that. Fiber optics in this area, Yucatan coast on the Gulf of Mexico, is really common. In fact, Mexico's really been pushing that quite a lot. So getting fiber optic is just more and more common to get, which is fantastic. So let me show you what we got. This is our little casita. This is our bottom level. This is a more beachy, housey type thing. In fact, we got lots of beach things from a local artist. She's fantastic, by the way, Marisol Sulu and everything. So we have this router. I'm covering the login information for security reasons, but a little fleshy. This is, we have two of these. We got one down here and one upstairs. So we actually have two accounts. It came that way, and that's fiber optic. In fact, that's where the fiber optic is coming in from. It goes right into there. Now, their modems are, this is Telmex, by the way, they're okay, but the Wi-Fi signal doesn't go out very far, and everything around here is made out of concrete. Everything is concrete, which tends to block these things. So we did have to buy a mesh network. Now we got this one from TP-Link. I have 4 of these. Of course, this one is plugged into this router. That's where it gets the signal. And then I have two upstairs in living room, kitchen, and one on the very top floor, the bedroom / office nook. And this mesh network relays to up one floor, which and then relays that up to the top floor. And if one of these routers doesn't get a signal from Telmex for whatever reason, which we've had, we can flip our network to use the other router, our mesh network here, to use the other router. And we've had to do that 3 times in the over a year at this point, because who knows why, and getting them to fix it takes a month. So having 2, we're really fortunate to have that when this place came that way, has been really helpful because you really need that. Now, in the past, we would travel. We would rent places for a month or 2, and we actually traveled with a router. In fact, I had one before this one until it broke. I had to replace this one here nearby in Merida, Yucatan. And so I still have that because a lot of these routers are not very powerful and they can't go through the concrete walls. So that one can only like work inside this room and a little patio area right here, but it doesn't even reach out to our palapa out there or the ocean. So having a mesh network so you don't have to keep switching networks, we just have the one and we get on it and we can walk around everywhere. It works everywhere until you get to actually on the beach. Once you go past our gate, it's too far. I could fix that by getting another, they call those nodes, those mesh networks. It's a node. I originally bought a 3-pack and found out I really needed a fourth one. You can buy them separately. And they're really great because you just place them where you need it. And if it's able to get a signal from another node, you're good to go. And it's pretty fast. Now, if you're doing live stream, video calls with family and stuff like that, it usually pretty good. May not be great out on the Palapa near the ocean, but you can move somewhere where it's pretty good, or you could even hardwire in. So I do have 2 or 3 of these of internet cable that's 100 feet long, and it's plugged in to a router, and we're able to jack that right into your laptop and turn the Wi-Fi off on the laptop. That works really well because you don't have to worry about your Wi-Fi speed. You can just get the wired speed directly to your router, and it's actually tends to be much faster, maybe at least twice as fast or 3 times faster. So it's definitely something to do if it's mission critical. You don't want to make sure you don't lose your connection, that type of thing. Mostly we found it's just video live streams or video calls sometimes. If it's casual, if I'm calling family and whatnot, I usually do that on my iPhone and it's on Wi-Fi and it's perfectly fine. That is fast enough to work everywhere in the house. So we have a Wi-Fi signal everywhere. In fact, our solar system, which needs Wi-Fi to report back to us, we have an app, is in our bodega, which is way over there in the corner of the place. And it's behind a lot of concrete and whatnot. It has a little antenna pointed this way to get a signal. And it's over there in the bodega, the solar system. There's the solar panels. It needs the internet to just tell us what's going on, how well the panels are doing, how much energy we're using and everything. But it does. It gets that and it is able to connect with our mesh network over here in what we call the casita, this bottom floor. Another tip is to get a UPS for your router, and if you're doing the node thing around the house as well, and plug them into the UPS. Now we have a solar system, but when the main power goes off, the flip over to the solar is enough where it makes these things reboot. So I got a UPS on every single floor where I have a node, and if I have a router and I plug them into it. Now, I made a mistake on the first one, which is this one, in that when the power goes out, this beeps. So if you're on a call or whatnot, you got this beep every few seconds. And the rest of them that I bought had a feature where you could mute that. I know it's working because the power went out, but at least I still have internet working. But that's it from here in Mexico. You can get really fast internet here. You just have to be careful. If you're renting a place, definitely ask them for a speed test. Ask them what type of internet it is, because if it's like DSL, wow, that can be bad. If it's microwave, like I showed, that could be even worse, that not even work, especially here on the beach when that little thing on the top of that big, huge stick can just get off a little bit and your signal goes to nothing easily. It can be great though, but because of the wind, it's not so great. Fiber optics though is actually really common and becoming more and more common here. We do have Starlink, but fiber optics is faster, and only if you're like really remote, even here in Mexico, would you go with Starlink. So there's some people that are east of us that don't have fiber optics yet that are doing Starlink because it's pretty fast. And Starlink is actually pretty good, but it's the last resort, actually. So That's it from here in Yucatan, Mexico. If you got any comments about getting internet in Mexico and speeds and things like that, leave a comment and I'll be sure to answer you. If you're interested in more like this, make sure you also subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in a weekly newsletter about all expat stuff, not just Mexico, but anything expat that I see, we have a curated newsletter every week at expatrebel.com. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Expat Rebel. This is Chris, and I look forward to see you guys in the comments and in the future. Thanks. Bye.